I'm a computer man. I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm a computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to MacWay. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm a computer.
Good evening, K-Squid listeners. Good evening, Santa Cruz, Monterey, Central Coast, and beyond. My name is Luigi Oppido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers right by the beach here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And for the next hour, I am your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, information, and a lot of frustration. That's right, we're talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome to one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters I hope you have ever visited. I'd like to welcome you to your Tuesday night, to your local radio station, your local KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT, and KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale, 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM. Also broadcasting online at ksqd.org, as well as our app. We've got an app. We've got an app. And not the delicious kind. It's delicious in a different way, but you know, it's go to your app store, your local app store, which would be either Google Play or the Apple App Store, and search for KSQD, and you'll see our app show up with our beautiful little squiddy, and download us, and you can listen to us anywhere. What's so cool about the app, opposed to listening to something else, is you can lock your screen, still have it play. You get play controls right on your phone as well. It translates with your phone and actually does does some more things on top of just being able to listen to it from the website, which is also cool. But on your phone, the app is where it's at. And also you can talk back to us, which is even cooler. You can email us through the app, through the voice pop, Vox Pop, and through that, it will then show up on our email right here in front of me, and I can say what's up. It's pretty cool. So let's, if we were talking about it before, if you say to yourself at any point, wow, this guy's talking a little bit quick. How am I supposed to get all these steps down? Well, let me tell you about it. We can jump over to the ksqd.org website. Oh, beautiful website with all of our amazing things that the KSQD has to offer, including the things that are going on around town and around us here at KSQD. You can check it out. And while you're there, we have a listening tab. Under there, there's a 2-week audio archive. You can listen to all of our shows for the past 2 weeks, which is really cool, including our music shows. So if you want to listen to some music and you're like, oh, I missed that show. It's not time for the Hawaiian show yet. Or it's not time for the Samba show yet. Who cares? Jump onto ksqd.org. Boom, there you are. You're listening to it. You can do it for the last 2 weeks. Pretty cool. And while you're there, of course, we've got that nice shiny red button at the very top. That is our donate button. That donate button allows us to exist, allows us to be here, allows us to be with you, allows me to be here with you, allows me to place to go so I can come be with you and talk to you about computers and things. So hit that donate button, make it a weekly, monthly thing, whatever you can do. We appreciate you, and thank you. It's awesome to have you, and we're glad to be here. If you're really into the Computer Man, last thing I'm going to offer you, if you're really, really into it, we have started Computer Man Podcasts. That's right. I actually finally have instructions in my hand on how to put all of my old shows onto the Santa Cruz, or onto Computer Man Podcast through KSQD, through our podcasting thing. So yes, we are in Santa Cruz. The Santa Cruz podcast doesn't have anything to do with anything. I just said those two words together. But our podcast that is on Apple Podcasts, which will also be ported to a couple other things as well, you'll be able to find us there. Computer Man Show. Pretty cool. So do a search right now on Apple Podcasts and subscribe to it, and you get the latest show. We're going to try to, I'm going to have tonight's show should be up within, let's say, 24 hours, hopefully. And then what I'm going to start doing is start posting the old shows. So, right now, tonight's show is 298. So there's quite a bit of shows to post. I'm a little behind. So we're going to get on that, and it's really cool. But you can jump on Apple Podcasts and listen to us at your leisure. Pretty cool. If you'd like to reach out to me after the show, Luigi, Luigi, at pleasurepointcomputers.com or Luigi at ksqd.org. That's our 2 email addresses if you want to hit us up. But while we're here, part of the show, 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. And if you're just joining the show for the first time, you're like, what is this computer guy going to be talking about eventually? Well, we are going to be talking about updates, new devices, testimonials, scams, and of course, our call-ins. I love when you guys call. It's great to hear from you. It's always good to get a question that's actually happening right now. So, I get a lot of emails and a lot of good things like that. That's always lovely, lovely. But if you're curious and you got a question right now, jump on. Let's do it. 831-900-5773. We're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. And, of course, you get a hold of us, 900-5773, or on air at ksqd.org. That's on air at ksqd.org. Boom, got it right here, ready to rock and roll. Okay, for today, let's see what we've got here. Oh, that was the Daisy thing. That was an old, is that this one? 120, yeah. Okay, cool. We've got. First of all, I want to actually talk about something that one of my favorite clients comes in, and she had an issue where she's like, I want to get rid of this thing. It keeps popping up, and I'm like, yeah, no problem. And we get those all the time. You have a machine that's doing a million things, and in that, and then you launch one of your million programs, and in one of your million programs has a million things inside that million program, right? Has so many things going on inside that program, and then you're like, okay, I don't like this one thing. Can you turn off this one thing inside the program? And usually I'm like, yeah, we should be able to do that. Especially something new, especially something that's kind of pesky, especially something that's kind of evasive, especially something that's maybe doing things completely different than you've done with this program ever, right? And it just started up, 5 days ago? Yeah, we're talking about Copilot and Gemini getting up all in you. All right? And what are we talking about with that? So Copilot is Microsoft's AI. Gemini is Google's AI. In fact, I'm just going to hit something real quick, and I want to see if this pops up down here. Okay, so it's not. So, all right. So with Copilot, with Gemini, two of the things that this one same client came in and asked me about, she just wanted it gone. She didn't want to have to deal with it. When she opened up her Gmail and started type a letter, or type in your the email address of who you're sending it to, type in the email address or the subject line, and then you go straight to the body of the email. When you go into the body, it says, Gemini would like to plus Alt plus H to help you write or whatever. And it has it's faded in right over your cursor. And dude, I also am in the school of don't put things by my cursor. If something's by my cursor, it's something I need to move around so I can write in a clear space. I need to write in a clear space. I've been doing this for 35 years, 40 years, however long I've been doing it since I can remember. Don't put something over. Don't let me type over something that's already there. It's just weird to me. It's jarring. Okay, so that's my not OCD, but just my fixation stuff. Don't do that to me. So Gemini does that. You will go into Google. Oh, excuse me. Go into Google. You'll go to the body of your email. You'll click on that, and then all of a sudden it'll show up a thing. Hey, let Gemini finish this email for you. And you're like, okay, I just want to turn that off. So she wanted to turn that off, and I'm like, okay, no problem. Let's go turn that off. Nowhere can I find to turn it off. Now, I found where the Gemini stuff is. It does not have a toggle. I found that on some business accounts, based on business accounts or based on personal accounts, sometimes it has the toggle, sometimes it doesn't. I think, to be honest, that it is so new that the features list has not flooded through all the versions of Chrome and everything, and this isn't up to date yet, and that the features list to turn Gemini off inside either Gmail or something just hasn't been updated yet. That's what I'm going to say nicely to Gmail for them to get off their butts and to go, hey, let me turn this off, please, because I don't want it sitting there. Granted, it's not doing anything if I don't use it, right? I have to hit Alt-H to begin with it, but it comes up over the text. I just don't really like that, and it should be something I should be able to turn off. And right now I can't. Moving on to Microsoft, so we're just angry at Google. We're going to move along. Going over to Microsoft now, let's be angry about a new thing. We go on to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, any of those things, and Copilot, which has inserted itself all over the place in Microsoft Office 365, right? You now go into Word, and when you start to type a blank document, it has a big, long line that says, press this to get, for Copilot to help you write, blah, blah, blah. It says that the first line before on a blank page. So you're about to write your letter, write your thing, and before that, you see this big Gemini thing. And you're like, okay. So evidently on a PC, Windows has a spot where you can go to File, you can go to Options, or go to Preferences, and when you're under the File version, should be an Options button in the bottom left-hand corner, that whole new window. Under the Options window, you should be able to go into generative text, or you can go into an actual AI. I don't remember which one it says, but under there should be a checkbox, and you can turn that off, and makes it go away, right? Okay. On a Mac, you do the same thing, except you have to go into the Word, right? You go into where it actually says Word up there at the very top, and then you go to Preferences, right? Because we're on a Mac now. Under the Preferences, then it brings up another page full of different options. There's the Copilot option. You click on Copilot, and you can mute something or other that I don't care about. It's one checkbox, but nothing to turn it off. Right now on a Mac, with Office 365 and the current version that was updated today, you cannot turn off Copilot and not get rid of it. And that's as of today. That's as of the 21st of January in 2025. This could change overnight. But as of right now, at 6 or something p.m., it is the way that it is. And that's not cool. To inject that stuff at me using your product makes me not want to use your product. Now, I haven't used a Microsoft product like that in my business and everything for almost 10 years. I've been on LibreOffice forever. And LibreOffice is great. It's, I use Word and help people with Word every day, help people with Excel, PowerPoint, all that stuff. But I choose not to use it because I don't want to spend the money every year. And now with things like that, it's more stuff. So you may open up, going back to the first problem, you may be going to your Gmail and hitting compose and going into the body of your email and being like, I don't see that here. And like at KSQD here, I don't see that here. But this is an organization that's managed. And the organization might have said, hey, we're not going to try any of that AI stuff yet. And you can actually toggle out of it at the very beginning. But if you opted into it, like I did with some of my browsers, just to say, hey, I'm going to do this because I want to tell you guys if it's annoying or not, then it is pushing through into Gmail as well. And it's not cool. I saw it today for the first time. It might have showed up over the weekend, but it was not there on Friday. So it happened just in the last few days. So people are coming back to work if they had Monday off for Martin Luther King's birthday. They might be coming back to work today, or if it might have rolled through on Monday, and then we might see a change by the end of the week. It depends on how pissed off people get. And that's kind of how it rolls. They push something over the weekend, and then all of a sudden, the workers mess with it all week, flood the complaint line at Google somehow with their ways of getting a hold of Google. It's just super difficult. And things can change. Kind of, sometimes. So, so Copilot and Gemini. Copilot being Microsoft, Gemini being Google. Annoying. Very annoying. Like this thing in my throat. I got something in my throat. Okay. So a scam I want to talk about real quick. This one is... it kind of goes along with everything. I know there's a big sigh, huh? Goes along with most of how these things go. Actually, I did want to talk about something positive. Yay! The Internet Archive. This is a great thing. I don't know. It should be around still, as of in the future here shortly. But right now, today, it's still here. www.archive.org. Archive.org. In fact, I'm just going to travel there real quick while we're with you. archive.org. Okay, let's take a look at that. Archive.org, yes. The archive.org is kind of like it's the Wayback Machine and a couple other things. Oh, they have an ad for the Wayback Machine here. But you can look on here and find movies. You can find games. You can find articles. You can find websites. You can find books. You can find all sorts of cool stuff, and it's all right here. There are the phone software archive. There's 151,000 items. Live music, 278,000 items. Canadian libraries, 912,000 items. The Internet Archive of Books, 4.8 million items. So archive.org, it is free. It is legit. It is one of the best things that the internet has, and I've had it in my notes forever. And I just literally one of those things that just floats around in every week in one of my notes, and we haven't talked about it in a while. So check it out, archive.org. Just poke through, dude. There's some really cool stuff. There's 17,000 Grateful Dead items. Okay. There's a magazine rack with 467,000 magazines. Russian audiobooks. There's it just goes on and on and on and on and on. There's tons of stuff. This is just the stuff. Computer magazines, 41,000 items. Unsorted television shows, 93,000 items. So a lot of things. Also, if you're out there shopping for things, that the website that we've been using, RTINGS, RTINGS. They're up to almost 4,000 items bought and tested. They review things, they buy them, they review them, and they review them. It's pretty legit. It's another thing that you can go check if you don't want to look at reviews for items other places. RTINGS, rtings.com. Pretty cool. Okay, let's go talk about this scam real quick. In fact, just want to mark that so we know we did that. All right. And Artings. There we go. This one, it was called, I read about this and I want to talk to you guys about it. It's called, it says, she scammed me on Tinder. And, wanted to teach some people about it or whatever. So this person met someone on Tinder, right? This beautiful girl or whatever. And this person, so this is overseas. This is actually in, like this person lives in Estonia and stuff. So this person matched with this girl, had a few back and forth, asked her, why she was there, and told her that she worked for, moved there for work. And he's like, we should continue the conversation from Tinder onto Instagram. But then she said she didn't have an Instagram, but she uses Telegram. So they use Telegram. So already, first off, now you've met this person, right? Okay, cool. And you're talking with them. And now they've moved off of one of the mainstream apps like Tinder, which kind of, you have to have an account and they kind of have some protections with. You can kind of, if someone screws with you, there's things that they had to put down to make that Tinder account, right? Sure. And then now we've moved off that from it going on to Instagram, which would be a little better because, again, you can still do some digging on them or see them a little better, but there's no Instagram. So you're going to go, okay, we're going to go on to Telegram, which is purely, just conversation, right? And this person's like, I'm usually good at avoiding traps. But then they started chatting, and she seemed a bit reserved. Conversation stretched over 2 to 3 days, and again, didn't feel like a scam. No pressure to really do anything. Just felt like a typical chit chat. Guy had to put some effort in to get a date, right? So that kind of stuff. And so finally asked if you want to meet up. Said yes. She asked what I had in mind, and I told her that we could go to this beautiful bar with a nice view of the city around 9 p.m. And she said, 9 p.m. is too late. She asked me if she could do like a 6 p.m. And he's trying to negotiate, saying that he had to work, but it'd be preferable to meet like after 8. And she still insisted it was a bit late, blah, 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 back and forth, coffee around 6. And she said, okay. She's like, well, there's this opera show that she wanted to check out called Wicked at 7 p.m. And so Wicked, and I looked at it, that's on this page here. And it's an opera show website with booking and everything, with seats and stuff. It looks like an airplane, actually, but it's not very big. It's only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's only 8 rows. Well, okay, so it's 8 rows deep with 4, 8, 16 across. It's a very small little thing or whatever. So the guy's like, okay, and again, they're in like an Estonia or something, so maybe it's a smaller town or who knows. But it's called Wicked. It's at 7 p.m. and she'd love to go after that. So this guy's like, at this point in my head, I was thinking it's going to be an opera show for a first date. It was a bit stretch, but I was kind of wanted to keep it a little more simple. But after a while, she told me that it would make the date more unique, and she could get her ticket herself and she'd buy her own. Blah, blah. Okay, so all this build up, right? Okay, so then she tells me that she's going to order hers, but there's limited seats. The show is only going to be available on that date. She sends a receipt of her ticket, and everything looks great. I go to the website that she sent. Okay, right? And start checking everything to see it looks legit. There's even a legit address about the opera and the town that's in, with all the website, with all the shows. And there's a picture. There's the picture right here. It shows, here's the website, and it shows your name, phone number, city, the time, and it has like these things. It looks very official, but then if you actually go like, okay, from site, what is it, Monday morning quarterback? Is that what Monday morning quarterbacking? Is that what it's called? Where now I'm like looking at this going like, okay, I know this is a scam, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, dude, this is a website with a graphic, 4 boxes to put titles and your name and everything like that in, with a time thing. You can do a scroll down, all simple website stuff. Plus, on top of that, it has these seats, which is for like the smallest theater in the world, right? This thing literally has 10 rows that's it, 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or I'm sorry, there are 8 rows back, and it's 12 across. So yeah, okay. Anyway, so he told me she took seat E3 and sent me booking confirmation, and you can say take the seat F3, and that was the website that has these different seats and stuff. Has standard booking, so the guy goes to the payment page to check, enter the card info, and ask for a code, and then which I gave, but then it gave me an error message that the code was incorrect. They told me I should try again, so I tried again and 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 again. 8 agains. Eventually, I reached out to support. They told me I need to type faster and put the code in faster. And I tried again and also made sure the 4-digit code was the right one. But then after trying a bunch of times, I checked my bank account to see if the charge was actually taken or not, because it kept sending me errors. And that's when I found out that they took every single again. They took payment every single time. So I reached out to support, asking them to retrieve the payment, let me do it once again, and so the payments are refunded. But that's when they asked me for another link with a refund form to enter my card again. So at that point, I knew it was a scam. Then when I started talking to the girl again, she started asking me questions, looking worried, and telling me that I should try again and it should work since she got her ticket. But I already knew it was a scam. So I asked to have a call with her, but then she blocked me after a few minutes. So just again, like this was only a couple days, and the guy was out about 300 euro. It looked like there was 8 charges for $50. So was that $400 or so? Yeah. 57 euro each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So eight different charges. So it just again that one again that could have been someone who had been doing that, like, introduced to this person for months and gone after this person and they've been talking, and so that was just sucks. That just sucks. Just cold. So be careful, especially if you're meeting new people, and just don't buy tickets, or if you do buy tickets, do a Google search for the tickets first. Maybe, I don't know. Again, 2020. Sitting on the armchair. So, all right, let's see. So, I have a number of things that are going on in the computer world that I would like to talk about, but I don't want to talk about the politics of them, even though the politics are the politics of them causing the things to happen to the computers. So, I actually, okay, how about this? I am curious if you all are interested. We'll do a little live survey here. If you want me to talk more about like why TikTok was banned, or how that all went over the last 2 or 3 days, or like the timeline, I have a timeline of that, about Meta today, Facebook, and the automatic adding of different accounts, Instagram hiding searches for certain political parties, TikTok now doing things with the president. If you're interested in that, if you'd like to hear about some of that stuff, email me and I'll talk about it. But there's a lot of, it just gets really political. It bros to computers. So I think we're kind of here for computers right now. So, just kind of want to talk about those as well. And granted, these are computer things. They're just kind of more kind of political wise. And we got a lot of computer stuff to talk about. So, last week though, we talked about that poor lady. Oh, this is such a sad story. So it's the lady who got scammed by Brad Pitt for like 830,000 euro. So she like 830 grand she sent to Brad Pitt, who was on a hospital bed, who sent her all these like AI photos. And I have the photos here. They're terrible. They to someone who doesn't know that they're AI, they look great. But now that we know that AI exists and we're on the lookout all the time for it because you're a listener to this show, they look terrible. They look like AI. But of course, again, I'm looking from the outside, not in love with Brad Pitt. Okay, so yeah. So this person that this article happened, or this story happened about like a day or two before I told you about it last week. So it's been about a week and a couple days since it happened. This poor lady has been completely berated and made fun of. So it happened in France. And I guess they ran the story because we heard about it. We heard about it because they ran it on their national news, like as like a scam story to kind of give people a, hey, this is happening and people are getting scammed for it. And the backlash this lady has gotten, she's just been ridiculed and been made fun of like mercilessly to the point where she's hospitalized now for depression and stuff. Like, wow. So, I just feel bad for her. So, I mean, I want to talk about scams and I want to talk about this stuff and I'm bringing awareness to it. But wow, we are at the point now where it's not like, oh, you're out a couple $100, which sometimes you are, or you're out $100 for a brake part that you bought thinking that it was going to something else and you got screwed. That was me. I did that. I absolutely did. Everybody, me. I told you about that and I'll be happy to talk about it again. But, we all get sucked in and just weren't paying attention and had some red flags that we decided to walk past, and anytime when I'm buying something like that, especially car parts and stuff like that, I look at the money that I'm spending on the car part and go, you know what? If I lost that right now, yeah, I'd be upset. That's not like a small amount of money. But at the same time, I'm not going to like not be able to feed my daughter or something, right? Like it's something crazy like that. So I'm like, yeah, if I lose that, if it's fake, if it just goes into the ether, then I'm not going to be able to buy that car part for like at least a month or 2 months or 3 months. So that's my punishment for falling into the pit, right? So it's like that's my angle, right? So yeah, I lost basically less than $100, but still I lost. Man, I've just been wasting their time. So every time, anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so going on. It's frustrating because everyone's getting screwed with. Everyone's getting it's just nonstop. But Apple stuff is happening. Apple Mail is crippled by AI. Oh my gosh! After being a devout Apple Mail user for probably a decade, I installed it. Apple Mail is effectively crippled by AI. Let's see. So. There's Apple Mail. Okay. Whew. Talk about a program that got thrust into 2024, right? Apple Mail. Why do we have Apple Mail? Let me just I ask people out there. For those of you who are clients of mine, you've heard my soapbox, but why do we have Apple Mail? Do we have it to make mail easier? Do we have it so we can check multiple mailboxes at once? Well, I mean, we can do that, but that's not why Apple Mail exists. You know why Apple Mail exists? Apple Mail exists for you to dial up and download your mail so you can read it offline to get off the phone. I say that very mean, right? You hear like some meanness in my voice like that. But it was like, it's because get off Apple Mail, man. Apple Mail is awful. It's awful. It has it. You can see we're in what iOS or Mac OS Sequoia 15. Does Apple Mail look exactly the same as it did back in OS Lion? Remember Lion? That was like 10.3. Or how about like Leopard? Huh? How about back then? It looks exactly the same because it hasn't changed, right? So then we get into 2024. All of a sudden now we're in Sequoia now, and Apple Intelligence is the future, whatever. And that's what they're doing now. That's their AI, Apple Intelligence. So we have all these AIs are going to like play the Super Bowl against each other or something. But Apple Mail decided, oh, well, we're going to incorporate AI into Apple Mail, into this program that looks like it hasn't been updated for literally 20 years. And we're talking about a program not being updated for 20 years is like a literal Model T sitting next to like a Tesla that works. You know, like that's difference of technology, but you can still drive the Model T on the road today. Right? And that's kind of what Apple Mail's doing. You can kind of still drive Apple Mail across the internet today, partner. You know, look at those stones. We used to ride those back in the day in the frontier days type stuff. It's so Apple Mail being thrusted forward now is now being incorporated and just being force-fed AI. And it is getting ugly. So someone wrote and said, Apple Mail is completely destroyed by AI. Let me list the things I don't like. Someone said, I don't need or trust top-level summaries, which is fantastic. I mean, if you have mail on your phone, I've seen the wackiest screenshots, like you'll get, junk mail, right? And so Apple Mail will kind of condense all of your mail into like things that it thinks you need, but it's very rudimentary and very early in its beta stages, and so it doesn't work very well. And it'll like incorporate things that are said and then change the inflection and summarize that, and it's completely wrong. Like someone showed me something like, you have a vet appointment at 2:00 p.m. and your father murdered your mother. Your father murdered your mother, and it said that, like, your father murdered your mother, and it's like, whoa, what mail did I get that said that? And they could never find the mail that made it say that. But they put together these wacky sentences, and there's people screenshot, and you can look them up online, where people's mail has been summarized in just the most crazy ways. So that's not working, and it's new, it's beta, it's new. But that's not working. It says top level summaries is just additional text to the original email. Additional text is additional reading. Additional reading is additional time. So they're like, get rid of that. My inbox is now forcefully and intelligently categorized in ways I do not want, can't understand, and causes me to miss significant emails. It says, no, turning off relationships between AI and mail and settings does not work at all. I cannot get back to my dumb Apple Mail. And that is what we're talking about here. We're talking about force-feeding you, the end user, a feature that you may not want yet, but now is becoming critical to the infrastructure. When before the infrastructure was working pretty well, it was working okay. It was doing its thing. I'm not going to say it was working great, but it was doing fine. And now we have this other thing coming in here going, I know everything, and I'm going to do everything for you first. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute, stop. And you can't. You can't stop it. It's there. It's sitting in the corner, waiting to hear and waiting to interject. And it's just, that's how it is now. So, and maybe this year will change that. Maybe people will have some backlash, and they'll give us the options to toggle it off. But right now, this is what all the investors and all the money is pushing forward. Everyone wants to be the next AI whatever. And so that's where we are now. Everybody has the next AI whatever. And it's a mess, kind of. And there's some cool stuff. I mean, yeah, write a cover letter and stuff. That's kind of neat. Give you a funny picture. Stuff. Don't put your face in it. Don't upload your face, because people are doing that and it's showing up on ads now. Like, you'll get an ad with your face on it doing something annoying. Not to me. I've been shown people who have done that. No way, man. No way. So just don't put your face in it. You can put things into AI. Don't put like family members' faces or your face or any of that kind of stuff. Just put like objects or things that are like already online that are anyway. So see, so you can't turn off the relationships between AI and mail. There's no going back to dumb Apple Mail. When logging into Gmail will show 38 emails in the inbox. Apple Mail with Apple Intelligence knows my needs better than myself, and thus only shows me 2 emails in this new primary category. So in the other categories, the sum of the emails must add up to 38, but they don't. So, and this person's like, I could go on. The changes are crazy. They're disappointing. For the first time in my life, with all my other Apple Intelligence nonsense shoved down my throat, this actually wastes my time instead of saving it. And it's like, I have now actually considered switching to Android. And people are like, well, I just leave my mail onto All Mail or whatever that tab is, and da-da-da-da. And you're like, okay, that's fine. Why are you using Apple Mail? I mean, like, again, Apple Mail, people tell me, okay, it makes it easier. I can go to one email. I have 3 emails. It goes to the one place. Fine. If it's working for you, fine. That's great. But when it breaks and people make special trips down to come see me, like they live far away or something, and they come see me and they spend like their day to come down and see me for this Apple Mail program, I'm like, why don't you just go on, you can still get your mail. Oh yeah, I can just go to a browser and I just launch the mail right there. But I want this to work. And I'm like, why? And maybe it's just me. It's just a personal preference. I can go to a browser and look at my mail on anybody's computer, and it looks the same. If I have Apple Mail, I've got to go sit my butt in front of my computer on Apple Mail, and it looks like that. So that's my soapbox. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're halfway through the Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid, 90.7 FM, online at ksqd.org, as well as our app in the Google Play Store and Apple App Store. We're going to go to a quick break. We got a couple underwriters to get to, and after that, we're going to actually ask Penelope to feed Enzo. So if you could do that for me, that'd be great too. And we'll be back with the Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid, 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Get K-Squid's new mobile app and never be without your squid. Find out what's playing, browse our podcasts, text us quickly, record a comment, and groove to the tunes. Download the KSQD mobile app for iOS or Android at ksqd.org or in your app store.
Support for KSQD comes from Good Times and the first annual Pizza Week, January 29th through February 8th. Local pizzerias and restaurants offering Pizza Week specials and meal combos. All Pizza Week details at santacruzpizzaweek.com. Thank you, Good Times, for supporting community radio K-Squid.
My name is Luigi Oppido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers and the host of the Computer Man Show, a 1-hour call-in show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Viruses, slowdowns, scams, and updates. Computers can be a pain, and I'll help you through it.
Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
If it has an on switch, we'll probably talk about it on the Computer Man Show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. only on KSQD 90.7 FM Santa Cruz.
Get into a computer.
Hi, I'm Bobby Bishop, host of Be in the Night, bringing you the best I can with jazz, love songs, and soul. Join me on Tuesday evenings from 7 to 10 p.m., playing the classics straight ahead and introducing you to the latest artists and composers. That's Tuesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. right here on listener-supported KSQD 90.7 FM, Santa Cruz.
Always love some jazz, and there's nothing better after computers than jazz. Let all that stuff ooze out of your ears with the beautiful sounds curated by Bobby B. Coming up and Be in the Night at 7 o'clock. That's just a short 30 minutes away from now. All you got to do is sit in here and let it happen to you. Coming up 7 o'clock, and that's Be in the Night. Let it happen. It's great. And we have some amazing jazz here Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays nights. If you haven't seen it already or haven't stopped by and just tuned in, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10, jazz is alive here at KSQD, and I highly recommend you tuning in. Check it out, ksqd.org, as well as Be in the Night coming up at 7 o'clock. Just let it happen. Also, if a family member has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or a related dementia, a caregiver support group can offer you an opportunity to find out more about available community resources. Learn from others going through similar experiences and build a support system. A facilitated caregiver support group will meet via telephone and online Wednesday, January 22nd. That is tomorrow from 2 to 3:30 p.m. More information at alz.org/CRF. That's CRF. That's alz.org/CRF, or by phone at 800-272-3900. That's 800-272-3900. All right, and it's brought to you here by K-Squid, serving our community. You can send your PSA to psa@ksqd.org if you'd like to throw one out. We'll be happy to read it here on air and take care of it for you. But okay, well, welcome back to the Computer Man Show here on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD. Stoked to be with you back here. We're going to talk a couple more email questions and some other things that are going on here here at the studio and beyond. So let's see. So this person says, my PC becomes really slow after a few months. Interesting. I wonder how they quantify that. Like, do they wait for that, or let's see. But that says I've had my PC for a long time, but recently, maybe around last year, I was using it and it froze. So I shut it off, turned it back on. When I turned it back on, I got really slow. Tried multiple ways to fix it, but eventually I just reset my PC, as well as getting rid of a bunch of my apps. Okay. Well, yeah. Getting rid of my apps, reset. Okay, yes, of course. And stuff. But then a little while after, maybe like a month or two, I did the same thing, reset it again, and then again. After a while, it froze and started to run slow again, and it's just been happening. Sometimes it takes a couple months. Sometimes it takes less than a month. What is going on is driving me insane. Yeah, that would drive me insane too. But at the same time, also, we're kind of, hobbling on. We feel like we have a flat tire. You feel the wobble and you go, that's just kind of annoying. But if I drive a little faster, it kind of goes away. Oh, I'm driving a little faster now. Okay, it's kind of gone away. Okay. Whoa, now it's really bad. Okay, well, let's just pull off real quick and stop and see if it's okay. Well, I've stopped now. I don't feel a wobble. Okay, cool. Well, let's continue on again. You continue on again, and you start to, I'm feeling that wobble. Well, last time I went really fast, and it went away. So let's go fast again. I mean, you see, but at the same time, we didn't fix the flat tire. We didn't get out and look and see why the tire's flat. At this point, first you reset the machine, when you reset a Windows machine, it resets and removes most of the applications on the machine. It resets everything back to a factory kind of state, but not a factory state because it's supposed to remove applications. If you did a factory recovery, that would actually put it back to a factory state, which means it came out of the box with all of its software. Welcome to HP, all that kind of stuff. But if you reset it, it goes back to a null state of just Windows. I don't believe you can do it with your user data, I believe, but most time no user stuff, no programs, no applications, nothing that isn't Microsoft on there. So it gets rid of any of the garbage and theoretically kind of saves the machine. But then you said you put some more stuff on it and then but it was slow. I wouldn't have done that because of slowness. If the machine was slow, I'd check your hard drive to make sure the hard drive is functioning properly. If it's an older machine, let's see, actually, I'm not really sure. I have my PC for a long time. If you have it for a long time, I would say it most likely has a spinning hard drive in it. If it has a spinning hard drive in it, that's most likely the reason it got slow. By you resetting it, it then removes things and puts things back. But if you have a bad hard drive, you have sectors that are getting locked off. If you have sectors that are getting locked off, you're going to try to pull that stuff out of the sectors and not be able to put it back in. And sometimes you'll pull something out thinking you got all of it out, and you didn't because the sector's dying. So therefore, you then go to put it back in, the machine restarts thinking all the files are there, and you have like potholes, and the computer hops, skips, jumps, blue screens. Has a problem, right? And with this doing a resetting over and over and over again, it's resetting off of its bad self, and it's just putting more garbage into the spaces and probably screwing things up. It probably just needs to have the hard drive looked at, and if the hard drive is good, it needs a clean install of an operating system. If you don't have anyone that can look at the hard drive or look at the smart status, Crystal Disk Info, or even have an operating environment where you can download a piece of software like that to look at it on itself, I would try at this point, since you've got most of everything off of it already, using another machine, downloading the media creation tool for Windows, and then downloading a latest version of Windows 10. Windows 10 is going to go away supposedly at the end of this year. I'm looking to see if that's really how they're going to do it, but since a lot of machines aren't Windows 11 ready. But if that happens, then Windows 10 is still stable as of right now, as of January today. So put that on a flash drive, load it up in your machine, see if it loads. If it has slowness with a fresh operating system, you've got a hardware issue. We've got to find out what that is. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Same thing. My Seagate refuses to format. My Seagate 2 terabyte external hard drive is having issues. When I try to format it, I get a pop-up that says Windows was unable to format. Yeah, if it's new, take it back. Seagate. Okay, so Seagate's factory is like right over the hill, right? Drive past it all the time, going to different people's homes, etc. It's a cool factory. It used to be Western Digital and something else as well in there. There's like there was like a solar thing that was in there. It doesn't matter. Seagate makes one of my most dreaded drives, the Barracuda. The Barracuda drive, when it came out, it has a cool name and a name that people know because it was hot for what it was. It was a 7,200 RPM drive, which is one of the ways you could get data out of a drive faster because it was literally spinning faster so that you could access things quicker. And they also made a 10,000 RPM drive called the Raptor. And it came in this really cool, like, black case with, like, fins on it and stuff. It was actually really neat looking. But they had extreme failure rates. And now the Barracudas actually have, like, a display at my shop full of Barracuda drives because they always fail. They always fail. Western Digital blue drives fail, sure. Western Digital green drives fail, sure. All those, everything fails. But we'll take a machine and it's running slow. Like, I bet it's a Barracuda. I bet. And you pull it out, bam, it's a Barracuda. So this person got a Seagate drive, which is who makes Barracudas, and sometimes the external drives have Barracudas in them. And this person refuses to format. The hard drive refuses to format. The person is probably trying their best. But if you have one right out of the box, get rid of it. Take it back. I would obviously want to check the status of it, see what it looks like. But I've had brand new drives, Seagate and Western Digital, right out of the box. Brand new, dead. In fact, there was one time I bought 3 drives at once. I was doing 2 computers and I wanted to buy an extra drive just to have for stock. So I went and bought 3 drives, and I got all 3, and I put the first one in and started doing the drive, and it was just awful. It wouldn't install. It was fighting me. It wouldn't see the drive. Then it saw the drive, and then I would restart, and it'd have a blue screen, and then I'd restart, and then it'd be fine. I was like, what is going on? It's a brand new drive. And so I was like, okay, whatever. So I take that out and I put in the second drive that I had just purchased. I'm like, okay, well, just going to make sure that this is working properly. Put in the second drive, and it's doing kind of the same thing, but not exactly the same thing, but also just annoying, not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's hiccuping and kind of skipping, and it doesn't seem to be booting at the same speed every time. And sometimes the start menu takes a minute to pop up. I'm like, what is going on? And then I went back to the computer and I started digging through the computer, started going through all these things on the computer. What's going on? Why is the computer running like this? Da, 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 da. And I finally go, wait a minute. Okay, this computer is new. It was fine before. Literally had just run another drive on it. Now I'm putting in the customer's drive, and 2 of these drives aren't working. I go and check both of the drives, and both of the drives had failures on them. Brand new, out of the box, brand new. The third drive, which was in the same batch, I could see on the numbers because they all came out of the same box. The third drive, it had some errors, but it was a lot less. These 2 drives that were together either were like banged together or something, but they had tons, like, the drives were at 68% health with literally 10 minutes on them, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right? There's no time on them. So you can get a bad drive directly out of the box. It happens. But unfortunately, if you don't have the right software or the right hardware to test the drive or another machine to kind of do that with, you don't really know exactly what's going on until you've replaced everything else. And that can be cost effective or cost ineffective and timely. So okay, another question here. This is actually really good. I like this one. Does OneDrive scan the actual content on my drive? Okay, so for the holidays, I'm converting a bunch of over-the-shoulder VHS tapes that my parents and grandparents have taken throughout my life and my family's lives. Some of the videos include me in the bathtub as a baby, running around in the yard in a diaper, that kind of stuff, right? And I wanted to upload them to OneDrive to share with my parents. And my grandparents, but I've also heard horror stories of not safe for work files being scanned on online storage and parents, etc., getting into trouble based on having, adult content, basically like that of kiddie stuff or whatever, right? Or it's being flagged that way, right? Because it's just a kid in a bathtub or your kid in the bathtub, but it sees skin and sees a child and flags go up, right? Okay. And there's a lot of horror stories out there. Those are out there. I want to make sure it was safe before uploading all these to OneDrive and sharing with family. So, okay, the way that it works from the backside is insurance, right? So the cloud companies who own these companies, they don't want to be sued for having some illegal thing on their servers or whatever. And you're like, well, your server, you owned it, so therefore it's your illegal stuff. And you go, whoa, whoa, whoa. So they then get, have policies in place and also have insurance. The insurance policies that they have in order to allow them to be businesses force them into certain scanning policies that say, hey, we're not going to harbor these type of things on our drives, right? So they have software and stuff that runs that kind of thing. So they have services that scan the images and videos for child content that's bad. And it's been like that for at least 5 years, like 2020 at least. But it's gotten better. The automated systems then flag things, and as awful as it is, a human then has to go and look at those flags to see if they're legitimate or if they're just kids. So something that could be presumed to be adult content of something that's illegal, illegal type, like personal photos, etc. It's not really made super clear, but everything is designed to protect the cloud host, not you. It's designed to make sure that the cloud host is not hosting something that they shouldn't be hosting and protect them against legality and against things like that. And they don't care about you. They would just throw you completely under the bus. So I hear you. So yes, they all scan your answer to your question. Yes, they will scan the videos and the photos that you were putting up there of any type of bath time fun with kids and all that kind of stuff. That's how it is. And you can do with that as you wish. Unfortunately, there might be if your grandparents can get onto OneDrive and stuff, maybe just throw that stuff. It seems like if they can get onto OneDrive with a computer, they can probably open a file on a flash drive. Throw the files in a bunch of flash drives or one big flash drive. Throw that in a nice padded envelope and mail it to them. That way they'll have it there and they can plug it in anytime they want to look at it, and you don't have to worry about cloud services or sharing OneDrive or putting the stuff, whatever. It just sucks but it's why it is. So again, all the algorithms are intentionally they're intentionally broad, and they also are undefined to protect the cloud host at all costs. So, okay, how do I get my computer to download things faster? That's a great question. Great question. This person says, whenever I download something, even something as small as a few megabytes, and it takes several minutes, or with Steam or video game service, or when I try to download a game, it says it's going at 25 to 30 megabits per second, but downloads less than 0.5 megabits per second, making downloading smaller games or like Half-Life or Doom or 3 take several hours to download, or even bigger games like Call of Duty or Wolfenstein to take a few days sometimes. My computer is not a sucky computer. I have a pretty high-end PC. Plays any graphically demanding game, looks great. And my brothers have the same type of computer, but theirs downloads much, much faster than mine. Aha. Okay, and they said, I want to clarify it isn't congestion over the network. It's always painfully slow, even when I'm the only one on the internet. And I've also tried using a mobile hotspot and gotten the same result. Good. These are good diagnostic steps. So you have now diagnosed a few things. You now have diagnosed that it's not your internet connection, because your brothers are getting really fast speeds and you're not. You've also diagnosed that it's most likely not anything going on dependent on the connection again, because you went to a mobile hotspot. So that means that you're connecting, you might be connecting through a wire to the internet connection at your house. You might be connecting to the wireless because you have the mobile hotspot and there's no wired connection to that. So you're definitely doing wireless there. Could be wired or wireless to the home. But if you connect, kind of the standard things, if you connect with Wi-Fi, use a cable. If you use a cable, try a better cable. If you use quality cables, try replacing the router. If it's not the router, pay for faster internet. If it isn't still working, then we need specs of the PC, right? So, but what we're going to do with that first, if your brothers are getting the speeds and you aren't, that's your network card or your network driver or something talking to the network card and network driver throttling it back. Because, or someone has gone into the router settings. I don't know if you're the little brother or the older brother, but if someone knows what they're doing in the router settings, sometimes we can allocate bandwidth. Sometimes we can throttle bandwidth. Sometimes if we have a MAC address of our little brother and they're getting pesky, you can throttle their bandwidth down to something infuriating so they can't use their machine. That can happen. You can do that with the router. You can do that. You can block MAC addresses, which will make the machine completely go offline. But you yourself said that it was still doing that over a mobile hotspot as well. Mobile hotspots also notoriously are not the fastest, but I would get, the first thing I would do is get another computer, put on your internet connection and try it. And we have. That's your brothers. So going back to your network connection, going back to the actual connection that translates the wall to your computer, to your network card, I would go to Best Buy and use the corporate power of the corporate world and buy a Wi-Fi card for your computer, plug it into your computer, use that Wi-Fi card to connect to the internet and see if you're faster. And if you are, it's the card. You can take the card back to Best Buy, get your money back, and you now know what it is, and you can figure out which card you want to get. That would be an easy way to do it. You can take it to a computer shop. We'd have happy to take a look at it, see if it's fast on our stuff, or if it probably would be slow on our stuff as well. And there's either a piece of software that's in there, something is blocking it, something is bottlenecking it. And one of the things you also could do is maybe even go into like a safe mode with networking. Safe mode with networking will allow the wireless card to exist and will allow you to go online and check things and look at things without the burden of all the rest of the software that's running in the background. If all of a sudden your speeds are flying, then I would say most likely it has something to do with a third-party piece of software that's running when the machine boots up. So we can go a couple different routes with it, but you've done some of the diagnosis yourself, and I don't think it has anything to do with your internet. I don't think it has anything to do with the router. I don't think it has anything to do with the cable. Your brothers are fast. You're not. So that's with that machine. And why is that machine slow? The translation matrix first, which would be the card. So that's where I would go to first. Okay, let's see here. My dad's computer got hacked. This morning at 4 a.m., my dad woke up to find somebody remotely accessing his computer. They had all sorts of tabs open, and unfortunately, my dad keeps all of his passwords on his computer, sometimes already preloaded. He's quite old, so he can't memorize all his passwords. Who can? But he's acting way too nonchalant about it. Whoever had access to his bank accounts online, or whoever it was had access to his bank accounts online. No real card numbers or anything, but still, I believe that's a cause of concern because two-factor authentication would inform him if someone changes passwords or tries to log in or whatever. But his machine didn't seem very safe because there they were. I found Screencast was installed 3 days ago, and some other normal programs like Chrome, Solitaire, etc. afterwards. So I uninstalled Screencast. I tried to check the task manager and also saw some phone links and mobile device stuff, but my dad never connects his phone. That would most likely also just be through like Bluetooth, like locally. So I didn't know if I should disable that as well. No big deal. I saw a bunch of other stuff I don't recognize since I'm not very tech proficient. Avast also didn't recognize any issues going on with the computer. I am worried. Okay. All this to say, I'm not sure what to do. I uninstalled Screencast, like I said, but I'm worried there's more underlying than what I know. Is there anything else I should look out for my dad? He doesn't have any installed apps besides Glary and Avast. Okay. Is it possible that the hacked person can also access my devices as well? Okay. So first of all, depending on how much stuff your dad has on the machine, if it's only Avast and something else, just reinstall the operating system. Copy his data off into a flash drive, download the new Windows operating system, and gut it and reinstall it. That would absolutely make sure 100% that there's nothing on that machine that shouldn't be there. That would be like the nuclear option, right? If you brought it to me, we would do a full scan. Most likely, the screencast that you had was the portal into his world. How did he get Screencast? How did he get a hold of these people? How did they get a hold of him? That's the curious thing. Was there an email that was sent? There's some type of initiation thing that the person has to know that the computer's online, right? That the person is there to receive, problems. So what was that and how that happened? That would be one of the first things I would think. But Avast used to be great, but we're in a different time now. So Avast is no longer, AVG is kind of no longer. Windows Defender is working. Get Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes is still very important and one of the best things you can have out there. It will find most of everything and clean it. It works really well. That's where I would go with that. But also, any of those websites you had open, I would start changing passwords. Changing passwords, enable two-factor authentication, and maybe get your dad into a password manager, right? And why we have ad block, don't we? We have ad block on these sites. I hope so. I hope so. So let's make sure AdBlock's installed on there, and maybe some, you could get your dad over to cyber101.com, cyber101.com if he's interested. I know it doesn't sound like he might be, but maybe he would be. Maybe both of you sitting down together. You go through some of the quick tutorials and quick classes about cybersecurity, etc. It's a pretty awesome resource that also doesn't have any ads or anything like that. It's just a good resource. So cyber101.com. Yeah. Okay, so let's we got about 5 minutes left in the show here. If you have any questions, anything going on with your machine, and you want to get a hold of us here, we'd love to hear from you tonight in the last few minutes. 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. Let's see what else we got going on. This has always been one of those things that's kind of bugged me, but I learned about it later, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine, but it still kind of bugs me. So why does slow internet show videos super choppy, and then the same internet will show an ad crystal clear? You've all experienced that, right? You're watching Netflix, you're watching something, and it goes through, and then it's like, starts to get a little choppy, maybe the internet goes a little slow or something like that, and then it goes to an ad, and the ad is perfect and loaded instantly. And you're like, ugh. You're like, why? You're like, right? Like that's why didn't the service I pay for load that quick when this ad is doing that, right? So this is something people ask me this all the time. I get this asked quite often. Why does that happen? And it's something called a content delivery network. Okay, so they're like these little tiny servers that sit in local areas, right? And they basically temporarily store all the trending content wherever they geographically are. So, and it'd be closer than when the actual server would be. So let's say if you have a YouTube server in California, but you're watching a Vietnam video, some video from Vietnam, YouTube's going to have to set up one of those content delivery networks in Vietnam with trending videos from Vietnam. So at that time, it could stream those to you faster, because coming from Vietnam through all their network and stuff would take forever. So they had set up a content server that basically those things get updated to, and there's a pipeline to the ones here that then allow all that stuff to flow through. It would be super slow to just connect to Vietnam, right? So that's why that allows to happen. But for ads, on the other hand, they're localized via relation to where you live. So there's always going to be a CDN server, that content delivery network server, close to you, physically close to you, which will always stream faster than whatever video you are, because the closer you are, the faster you're going to get your content. Same thing when back in the day with DSL. I had a buddy who worked for AT&T, and he got to put me like top of the node on DSL for our node down the street. If you're top of the node, you get faster service. So because you're first. Literally, that's it. You're first in line. You don't have to wait. It's like the whole plane lands together, but the guy at the very front, gets to the bar first, or whatever the saying is. Anyway, so same idea. Content delivery networks, and that server sitting close by allows that content to look amazing, because it's literally streaming from theoretically kind of down the street, rather than it coming from cities over, or miles and miles and miles and miles away. Yeah, so if you have slow or data-capped internet, using AdBlock like uBlock Origin or GetAdBlock.com or any of these AdBlock programs that work, it'll actually improve your experience, because then it won't be trying to download the ad stuff first from the local server and then reach out to the further things. It'll reach out to the further things first and actually not be mitigated with the stuff that's close by, because it doesn't load the ads. So it gives you more of a pipeline to more stuff. It's like, if 20% of the pipe had hot water inside it and 80% was cold, you're like, well, I just want it all hot. You can just get rid of all the cold water and just make it one pipe like it is right now, right? Like that's how the pipes work. We're not like putting pipes inside pipes. So bad definition, but that's how it works. Okay, well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we've reached the end of another Computer Man show. Wow, that was really quick. Snuck up on me while I got into my CDN stuff. Really excited about that, I guess. Good stuff. Well, if ladies and gentlemen, again, if you would like to give me a call or email me, you can always reach me by email, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. Remember to tune into the Computer Man show Tuesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. here on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you, KSQD, Sandy Stone, Harold Francine, Radio Gibby, Divvy Kibber, John Sanders, all of Santa Cruz, Nicholas Heads of the Wasp, Gates Controls, and of course, the humble Electron. Thank you again, Santa Cruz. I'm your Computer Man here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid, 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Stay tuned right here for Be in the Night. I hope you all have a positively charged evening. Until next time.
I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man, he is your friend. He gonna help you again and again. So if you have a question or two, he's got the answer just for you. I am the computer man, and I am ready for questions now. Thank you.
Mr. Computer Man, how much is 2 plus 2?
4.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell cat?
C-A-T.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
With letters. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am something you don't understand.